Welcome back. Now that you have everything installed, whether you're using a Mac or a PC, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through a simple Hello World application and just show you how to get started in building a Java project. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to launch Eclipse. And again, it doesn't matter if I'm on a Mac or a PC for this piece because it's exactly the same processes. This box here that comes up for your workspace is going to identify where the files are going to be saved to. I'm just going to go ahead and keep the default and say OK. Once this comes up, the first thing I want to do is, because I have nothing here, I want to go to File, New. Oops. I want to go to File, New, Java Project. Give it a project name, Hello World. Okay. And let it go ahead and create that project. Now, notice there's nothing here. All it did was basically create a folder, and under the folder, there's a folder called Source, and then it lists all the possible libraries that may be needed. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go and minimize this. I'm going to right-click on the SRC folder. I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to go to Class. And down here where it says Name, I'm going to just say Hello World. And just click Finish. And this is actually going to build out a very basic class structure for me. Now, the things that are missing from this, and you'll get to it later on, is the main. If you've done any programming with any other language like C++, you have to have a main to execute the code from. So let's go ahead and add that real quick. Okay, once we've gone ahead and done this, the next thing we want to do is let's just put something out to the screen. And we can do that by doing system.out.println. And in this case, we're just going to say Hello World. And then at the very end of this, I'm just going to put a semicolon. And we'll break this down a little bit more as time goes on, but this is just a basic introduction on how to utilize the interface. Okay, now we've got the system.out.print Hello World and this semicolon at the end. There's one thing I forgot to do here, so let's go ahead and add that. There's one thing I forgot to do, so let's go ahead and add that. There we go. And now that we have this all set up, all we have to do is click this little run here. It says select the resources to save. Go ahead and say OK. And then if you look down here, this is what we refer to as our terminal window. So whatever the code that runs up here, you're going to see the executional part down below here. Now, sometimes you're going to say, okay, well, I've ran some code, but it's not the output that I want. What I'm going to show you now is a quick way, and I'm going to copy this a couple times. If you come over here next to the number, in this case we have number 6. If I double click over to the left of that number 6, it puts a little dot there. It's called a line break. So now when I run this program, instead of clicking my little button right here that looks like a green arrow, there's a one just to the left of it. Looks like an actual bug. It's called the debug. And if I run that, what this is going to do for me is it's going to launch it in a debug window for me. And notice here, right where my dot was, right now it is highlighted in green because this is where the program is currently at, and it's paused until I tell it what I want it to do. So what I can do on my keyboard is I can press F10, or if you want to come up here, and in this case we're going to go and press F6, and notice as I press F6 on the keyboard, it goes down to the next line, and then it displays the data down below. And I can keep continuing this process, and notice how it's going from line to line to line, and then once it's finished, the code finishes executing and we are done. And during this time, I'm able to see what the values of everything is. If I had any variables that were declared, they'd show up over here in this location. As you see here, I have breakpoints. The only one that I have at this point is on line 6 of the code in the main. And then if I need to get back to where I was so I can go back to coding, all I have to do is I have to hit the stop sign there. And then over on the right hand side, right now it's in the debug window. Just click the Java window and you are back where you started off. Hopefully you find this useful, and we will talk to you later.